My 20F boyfriend, 22M, said, "If you can't handle period cramps, how do you want me to build a family with you?" This post gives good background for the relationship in question, but can be skipped if needed. Title: Did my 20F boyfriend, 22M, salt me last week? Did I overreact? I don't know what to think. I need outside opinions, please. My boyfriend and I have been dating for a year. Last week, I had slept over at his place. I was semi-awake when I felt him going on top of me. When I eventually opened my eyes, he just screamed "Good morning" and went inside of me. I immediately froze. I then started crying and he immediately stopped and asked me what was wrong. I wasn't able to tell him. I couldn't stop crying, and at this point he was crying too and apologizing profusely. I called an Uber then left. He kept texting/calling me to apologize. I texted him back the next day saying that I accept his apology and I'm sorry too for ruining the moment. I do want to forgive him, but a little part of me feels violated. I know he would never maliciously grate me, but he knows I've been actually salted before, so why would he think this was a good idea? I want to move on, but there's this little part of me who wonders if he did all of that on purpose. I love him so much I don't know what to do. Am I overthinking or overreacting? Relevant comments. One Redditor wrote, "I know he would never maliciously grate me." So, how do you describe what he did there? He penetrated you without consent, without asking for consent, and seemed to time it completely intentionally. That is grape. It wasn't an accident, it was on purpose. Opie replies, "It took me a little while to react, and when I started crying, he immediately stopped. That's why I don't think it was malicious. But then why do this in the first place? I'm so lost I don't know what to do." One Redditor wrote, "Unless this was part on an ongoing game/fantasy you both discussed and engaged in the past, which doesn't sound like it based on your story, this was at best seedy and selfish move, and in many places would be considered salt. What worries me more is that you let your love for him blind you so much you felt the need to immediately accept his apology and even say you're sorry for ruining the moment. This is not a healthy dynamic in a relationship. You're very young, and the fact you have feelings for him shouldn't make you forget your basic human rights. You are not overreacting. Tell him you are not accepting his apology and not sorry for reacting as you did. As for what's next, that's up to you, but please do not compromise. At the very minimum, he should be honest about why he did it in the first place and why he let his lust overcome what he knew about your history. Don't let him make vague excuses, and if he tries to push back any blame on you, you know he's not the one." Opie replies, "He has told me before that he wants me to wake him up with Jingalinga, and I've done it before, but I always said that I don't want him to do it to me because of my actual trauma. However, one time we were about to have Jingalinga when I randomly got hit with this wave of fatigue. I didn't want to ruin the moment, so I let him have Jingalinga with me while I was sleeping. This was the only time I consented to such an act, and it might have given him the impression that I was okay with that. He's very impulsive, and I don't think he did it maliciously, but then I don't know. As soon as I started crying, he stopped, and he apologized 1,000 times. I'm just really lost." Commenter, No. This is grape. Holy seat. You seriously need to break up. Hell no. The other thing you wrote that he continued while you fell asleep once, no. That's not right. He shouldn't get hard from your unresponsive body. He should make you feel safe. You're young. Seriously, I don't know what to say. I never wrote something like dump him, ever. I always try to understand the other side or figure it out. But this is very extreme. Please leave. It is actual salt. I don't know if you should go to the police or not. That's for you to decide. Opie replies, "I feel like when you put it that way it's different. He didn't get hard from my unresponsive body. We were about to do it, so he was already hard. Then I got sleepy and I told him he could continue. He asked me like 5 times if it was fine and I said yes. But I get your point and I'll think about it. He genuinely looks remorseful, but then I don't know. Thank you for your input. One commenter who was downvoted wrote, okay, I'd be completely honest, even if the majority doesn't agree. I think that, in fact, yeah, it was mistreatment because you did not consent. However, I really think it wasn't his intention to grape you. Yeah, it was wrong, and yeah, it was stupid as hell considering you had been actually harmed before, but I don't see a selfish, rapist, evil guy when he immediately stopped at the moment you started crying. I don't see it either in the way he was so worried that ended crying with you and texted and called several times the moment you left. Be completely honest with yourself and how you feel about it, and obviously, talk with your partner about this and establish clear boundaries if you want to continue with this relationship. Remember that even with all the details, nobody but you knows more about this guy than yourself. So keep your mind clear, think about it, and take a decision. My best wishes, hope you're better now. I've had an experience with sexual assault, so I know this is clearly a severe topic and trauma. Opie replies, that's why I'm so lost. He was crying so hard, he was shaking, and he looked genuinely remorseful. He's one of those people that doesn't think before saying/doing something, so I think he was just trying to be funny, I don't know. But he knows about my past trauma regarding Jingalinga, and he knows that I don't want him to wake me up like this. I don't know if he just forgot, but again, I don't know what to think. Update. 1 month later. Hello, my boyfriend and I have not been talking for the past few days because of this incident. Basically, I got my period in the middle of the night, and I woke up to my legs being completely drenched in blood. I teared up a little bit because I hate being on my period, so I was really sad about that. I also ruined my boyfriend's sheets, so I was embarrassed too. I couldn't open my legs because I knew I would just bleed more, so I gently woke him up to carry me to the bathroom. He was kind of annoyed about being woken up, understandably, but I really needed to use the bathroom, and I couldn't walk because I was in pain. I was crying a little bit while he was carrying me, most likely due to the hormones, because I'm not usually that sensitive, and when he put me down, I realized that I wouldn't be able to take the extra few steps to sit down on the toilet. I also knew that as soon as I opened my legs, blood would just come out. So I then asked him to give me his hand to help me get into the bathtub instead. He was annoyed and said, "Can't you do it yourself?" I said, "No, my stomach hurts." He then helped me, and I was crying because I knew I was just annoying him. When I eventually came out of the bathroom, he said, "You just ruined all my ducking sheets." I said I was sorry. He then sighed obnoxiously loud to show his annoyance. I said, I was sorry. Can you drop it? You act like you're the one cramping for a week. He then said, shut the duck up. My sisters get their period too, and they're not female dogging about it. I said, what did you just say? And he laughed and went to the kitchen. I followed him and grabbed his arm to make him look at me, and he kind of raised his voice and said, bro, leave me alone. You just ruined my ducking day with your bullshit. I said, sorry, I have my period. And he was like, you're acting like you're giving birth. Relax. He then followed with, how do you want us to build a family if you cry at every ducking inconvenience? I was crying and said, what the duck does that even have to do with this? And he said, see, if you can't handle period cramps, how do you want me to build a family with you? At that moment, I thought it was his way of breaking up with me, and I said, are you trying to break up with me right now? And he said, you know you can be so stupid sometimes. I said, what's that supposed to mean? And he said, I'm not talking about this anymore, go get some rest. I tried to talk about it, but he just gave me the silent treatment. Am I wrong in how I handled this? I guess I shouldn't have woken him up, but I had to go to the bathroom and I couldn't walk. Is there something I can do to fix this? Relevant comments. One commenter wrote, I'm going to withhold judgment, but have you seen your doctor about this? Periods should not be akin to a disability where you need to be carried to the bathroom and helped into the bathtub. I'm not saying you're lying about being in severe enough pain where those things become necessary. But the fact that you're one, bleeding so severely as to soil the entire bed as soon as your period arrives, and two, are in too much pain to move yourself around sounds like an underlying medical issue like endometriosis. Opie replies, no, I didn't. But also it was really late, so I was super tired. If it had happened in the middle of the day, I would have been able to go alone, just taking more time, but I really had to go to the bathroom. And for the soiling, okay, I don't think I actually soiled the entire bed, but there was a very big puddle of blood and all of my inner thighs were completely soaked. But thank you so much for your input. I just never really thought about seeing someone about this. A lot of my friends have heavy periods/bad cramps, so I thought it was normal. Another Redditor wrote, are you sure you didn't have a spontaneous abortion? What type of birth control are you using? Your symptoms are worrisome. Aside from that, your boyfriend is not husband nor father material. Opie wrote, no, I don't think I did, and I don't use birth control. Commenter then wrote, okay, wait a minute. You were unable to walk to the bathroom, unable to step into the tub, but then when he said something ugly to you, you followed him to the kitchen? Miraculous recovery, in my opinion. Opie replies, if this had happened during the day, I would have been able to go by myself. It would have just taken more time. I just needed more help because I had zero energy this late at night. Plus, I really needed to use the bathroom. I couldn't walk because of the pain and because I had a lot of blood between my legs. I knew he would have reacted way worse if I had ruined a towel too. I told him to put me down at the entrance of the bathroom, and only then did I realize that I wouldn't be able to walk the extra steps without making a mess. One commenter asked, how long are you guys together? Has anything like this never happened to you before? Surely he'd know if this was normal for you. 1. If this is your normal period, get to your doctor. It shouldn't be so debilitating, and 2. If this is not your normal period, definitely go to your doctor. Is it possible you were having a miscarriage? There are reasons these things can happen, but you'd need to see someone. At first I thought you were being a bit OTT, needing to be carried, etc., and then how you went about confronting him, but reading on I see what he's done in the past. You need medical help for your extreme bleeding and pain, and you need to get this person out of your life. Please do both. Opie wrote, we've been together for a year. I've always had heavy and painful periods, and usually, during the first few days of my period, I tell him that I can't hang out because I'm in too much pain. I never really thought about going to the doctor because I have a lot of friends who also have painful and heavy periods, so I didn't think anything was wrong. Also, I don't have the greatest pain tolerance, so I thought it was just me. I don't think I was having a miscarriage. Another commenter wrote, is this the same guy that raped you? Girl, run. Opie replies, which is downvoted. It was a misunderstanding. Commenter then wrote, what's there to misunderstand? You yourself said that you told him to not wake you up with Jinga-linga due to trauma, and he did it anyway. You explicitly did not give him consent, and he did it anyway. Jinga-linga ed 101 tells us that it's grape. You're a victim. Opie replies, which is downvoted. Yes, but I said it a long time ago. It's not like we talk about this every day. It's hard to explain, but he forgot in the moment. Anyways, I don't like thinking about that. One commenter wrote, as someone who's dated seatheads like this, there was no misunderstanding. He didn't forget. He views you as his personal pleasure toy, and anything that reminds him that you are a human being will cause him to mistreat you in some form or fashion. Hopefully you'll recognize this and not end up in a situation like I did, nearly being run over, before you decide to at least leave, if not call the cops on his sorry back. You're still so young. You have plenty of time to find someone who will treat you with respect and kindness. But this jerk-off you're with ain't it. Opie replies, no, he forgets everything, like he has to use alarms at all times to not forget things. So of course he's not gonna remember a conversation we had months ago. He's also very impulsive, and he thought that it would be funny at the moment because, at the time, we had been waking each other up with pranks. When he did it, I immediately froze, so he had no way of knowing if I was okay with it or not. Also, when I started crying, he immediately stopped and asked me if I was okay. He felt so bad, he was crying/shaking, and he apologized like 1,000 times. We stopped having sex for a little while after that, and he never pressured me into doing it again until I was comfortable enough to do it again. But I am taking into consideration what you said, and I'm sorry for what happened to you. Update. 1 week later. Hello. I made a post about a week ago regarding a situation with my boyfriend. I talked to him yesterday morning, and I wanted to give an update because I saw some comments asking for one. We did not talk after our fight. I wanted to fix it and move on, but I was really hurt by the way he spoke to me and wanted him to apologize first. He didn't. I suspected he wouldn't because he always waits for me to apologize first, so I ended up texting him. My message didn't go through because he had blocked my number. I tried to text him on Instagram and discovered I was blocked there too. I then messaged him on Snapchat. He never uses it, so I think he just forgot to block me there. I told him I was sorry, but I wasn't LOL, and that I just wanted to talk in person. He ended up coming over, and as soon as he came in, he acted like nothing happened, which just pissed me off. By the way, I saw a lot of comments saying things like, "How did you not know you were going to be on your period? You're old enough to know better," etc. I was 5 days late, so I didn't really know when it would come. I know I should have been more prepared, but I had no idea it would happen or that he would react like that. Anyway, I told him I wanted to talk about what happened because his words still hurt me. I apologized for waking him up, acknowledging his frustration was understandable, and explained I was too weak at the moment to go to the bathroom by myself. He responded, "You acted like you were disabled. If I hadn't been there, what would you have done?" I said I would have probably pissed my pants or gone alone and spread blood all over the room. I knew he would already be mad because I stained his bed, so I didn't want to make it worse by staining a towel too. I said I didn't like the way he was cursing at me and calling me names, and he replied, "Well, let someone else ruin your day with dumb seat and see how you react." I told him I didn't think it was dumb seat. I was in so much pain, and he didn't show any sympathy. He just looked at me like I said the dumbest thing in the world. I also told him that I scheduled an appointment with an OB/GYN because what I experienced wasn't normal. He said, "Well, I just hope next time you won't piss me off." I asked, "Why are you so mean?" And he didn't answer. He just went on his phone. I got mad and took his phone. Wrong move, I know, because he always dismisses me in the most disrespectful way to make me feel dumb. I took his phone to make him pay attention to me, and he tried to take it back a few times. I said I wanted to finish the conversation, and he just got even angrier. He ended up grabbing my wrist and twisting it to make me drop it. I obviously started crying, and he was like, "What the duck are you crying about? You did this to yourself." Through tears, I said I just wanted to talk to him. He mocked me, and at this point, I was so hurt I just told him to leave. He left, and in the heat of the moment, I texted him saying it was over. I started thinking about all the messed up things he did or said to me and how he literally assaulted me. A couple of hours later, his sister, my very good friend, sent me a huge text asking if I was okay. She said her brother told her I went crazy and that he was worried for me, but that I just broke up with him out of nowhere. I haven't responded yet because I'm too ashamed to reveal what happened. I don't know what to do. She said he just wants everything to go back to normal and that he misses our trio, me, him, and his sister. I've been thinking about the whole situation since yesterday, and yes, I miss him more than I've ever missed anyone in my entire life, but I hate the way he speaks to me. I feel like if he changes that one thing, we could be perfect. I don't really know what to do. His sister says he's been heartbroken about this, and I believe her. She's never lied to me. I need opinions. What would you do? Thank you. Relevant comments. One commenter wrote, "When a man shows you who he is, believe him. Him verbally berating you about your menstrual cycle is mental mistreatment. Him twisting your arm is physical assault. He is an abusive partner. Be strong in your conviction to break up with him and stay far, far away." Opie replies, which was again downvoted. But the thing is, he wasn't always like this. Like, I remember when I was struggling with depression, I became very irritable, but it's just because I was going through something. I don't feel like that's who he is. I just wanna understand why. One commenter suggested, "Stay broken up. There's no reason for a relationship to be this hard." Opie replies, downvoted. No, but if you're going to stay with someone for your entire life, isn't it normal to go through difficult moments together? Another Redditor wrote, "I'd like you to ignore all the comments and read your post from 38 days ago, where he actually harmed you while you were just waking up. Then your first post about how angry he got and the words he used when you got blood on the bed. Then your update where he put hands on you. What advice would you objectively give another woman asking for your advice? You need to get rid of this guy. At the least, he's an oppressor and a rapist. This will progress to more violence. Get out, as fast as you can. Please." Opie replies, "I want to believe you, I really do, but why I have this voice in my head telling me that he's just going through something and he's taking it out on me. It's not right, but I have done it before when I was going through things, and in reality, I just wanted people to help me, and I want to be that person for him. But then what you're saying makes sense too. I'm just very lost." Final update, 5 days later. Hi everyone, this is most likely the final update I will post about this situation. I had my appointment with the gynecologist, and turns out I had a miscarriage. I initially thought it was just a really bad period since mine are usually heavy, but I was wrong. I've never been more heartbroken in my entire life. I can't believe I was pregnant and now it's gone. I tried to read every comment, and they all essentially said the same thing. I tried really hard to believe that he is the oppressor everyone says he is, but I simply couldn't. He had never grabbed me like that before, and yes, it hurt, but at the time, I didn't think it was enough to officially break up. Stupid, I know. I thought, well, it's not like he hit me. But I was still very hurt by what he did and said, so I didn't try to contact him. He called me the day after the incident to apologize. He said he regretted what he did and promised to do better. I thanked him, and he asked to hang out, but I declined. He was understanding and asked me to stay on the phone just to talk. I still missed him, so I said yes. I also told him about the miscarriage, and he apologized profusely for his reaction. He genuinely looked sorry. He said that if he had known, he would have reacted differently, and that his attitude was mainly because he was tired. We both cried, and it was a beautiful conversation overall. The next day, Sunday, he came over with a bunch of gifts and a handwritten letter. He apologized again for what he did and promised he would never treat me like that again. He said he underestimated his strength, didn't use his full force, and simply wanted his phone back. He said he was working on his anger and impulsiveness. We spent the next few days glued together, and they were amazing. He was so cute. He kept referring to me as his wife. Everything was okay until last night. It was my friend's birthday, and we had planned to go together. My boyfriend and I went to different schools, so he didn't really know anyone and stayed with his friends most of the time. Most of the people there were from my high school, and I hadn't seen them in a long time, so I was talking to everyone. I forgot to mention, but his sister was there too, and we chatted. We were all drunk, and she jokingly asked what happened with her brother and why I went crazy on him. I responded laughing that he's the one who went crazy on me and attacked me. She asked what happened, and I explained that we were arguing. I took his phone, and he grabbed my arm and twisted it to make me drop it. She laughed and said he used to do that to her all the time growing up. I didn't say it in a serious tone at all, like I was laughing as I was saying it. Everything was fine that night, and we went to his place together as usual, but the next morning, so today, he asked me if I told his sister anything. I knew I ducked up, so I acted like I didn't remember the conversation and said no. He knew I was lying, which just angered him. He accused me of spreading lies about him to everyone for attention and said that he doesn't even know my friends, and that's the first impression they have of him now. I felt really bad and tried to explain that I wasn't thinking because I was drunk, and it's not like I said he punched me in the face. I tried to say that they didn't even hear me and that I was just talking to my friend. I also said that I was laughing as I was telling the story. He kept cutting me off and getting angrier. He was like, "Your voice is so ducking loud, you really think no one heard you? Are you that ducking stupid? Now everyone thinks I beat girls. Are you happy? Did you get the attention you wanted?" I just kept apologizing because I understood where he was coming from. I tried to hug him a couple of times, and he would just push me away. He kept calling me an attention seeker and a crybaby. I was sobbing because we were doing so good and I just had to ruin everything. When I tried to hug him for the last time, he slapped me in the face. I had never been hit in the face in my entire life, let alone by a man. We were both shocked for a moment, and then he started crying and apologizing. I had never seen him cry like that. I said I was okay and that I just wanted to leave. He tried to offer me a ride, but I said no and went home by myself. I ended up going home, read some comments, turned off my phone, and just cried the whole day. I don't know why it took me all of this to realize he doesn't love me. If I'm being completely honest, I still cannot see him as this evil oppressor. I know he is one objectively, but I simply can't see him as one. I don't know why. I did block him, and I'm trying to keep my distance because I'm scared of what he could do next. I'm pretty sure he knows it's over now. I'm not sure, but I think he knows. I don't want to tell his sister what happened. They're literally twins, so I just feel like she would take his side. We're really close, so I'm not 100% sure she would, but then I didn't know my ex would slap me, so I don't want to test my luck. He also has another sister, but I don't really know her or talk to her, and I just want to be alone for now. And no, I'm not going to the police. I don't understand how someone can look up wedding rings with you one day then literally hit you in the face the next day. I was literally pregnant with his child, and that's how he treated me? And he had the nerve to hit me knowing I lost our baby? I will never understand. I know everyone is gonna call me stupid for going back to him one more time, and I get it, I know I am. It just sucks that I have to deal with the pain of losing a baby and now losing my boyfriend. Thank you everyone for the messages and comments. You all helped me a lot. I'm probably missing a lot of details. Let me know if you have any questions. Relevant comments. One commenter wrote, "You want to know how you keep people from thinking you hit girls? By not hitting girls. It's okay to miss him, and you will for a while. But you will get over him. Use this experience so that you can see red flags earlier in the relationship." Opie replies, "Wow. Thank you for this." One commenter wrote, "You sound so naive, girl. That's how they suck you in. Let us know when the next he decides he doesn't like what you do. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. It's only getting worse, run. Opie replies, "I know I am. That's why I want to stay single for now." Another commenter wrote, "You are not stupid. You are in love and manipulated. Don't call yourself stupid." Opie replies, "I mean, everyone saw it coming but me, so I think I'm a little stupid, but it's okay, now I know at least." One Redditor wrote, "I am worried for you. You make a statement that he knowingly hit you. Do you feel you deserve it? No one deserves to be hit. You did nothing wrong. Except a lie to him about telling the truth. Did you lie because in the back of your mind, you were scared he might hurt you physically? Please go talk to a therapist as you have a lot of stuff happen to you in a very short time period. Opie replies, I don't think I deserved it, but then I understand how being in the heat of the moment makes you say or do things impulsively. I can see the situation objectively and say I didn't deserve it, but then I have this stupid voice in my head telling me he just wasn't thinking. And yes, I lied because I knew he would just get more mad and it obviously didn't work. I'm going to seek therapy one day, but right now I just need to process what happened. A commenter's response. Process this in therapy. He hit you because he wanted to. He doesn't hit his boss when he's angry. He hit his sister and he hit you. He was totally thinking. You really need therapy to see this. Another commenter wrote, how did your gynecologist determine that you miscarried? Blood draw? Tissue sample? Ultrasound? How late were you? If I recall, you were a week late? Opie replies, I did a pelvic exam, an ultrasound, and blood tests. And I was 5 or 6 days late, I think. Commenter then asked, now will you break up with him? Opie replies, yes. Commenter wrote, I'm sure his sister is great, but she will continue to try to fight and say her brother is a good person. Don't speak to any of them. Cut them all off. Opie replies, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. One commenter wrote, I really wish we would stop referring to being an oppressor as being this over-the-top monster or villain. We, as in the public in general, not their victims. They have every right to think about their oppressors in any way that feels true and helps. Time after time, one post after the other, oh, they couldn't possibly be abusive because they don't do it all the time, because they are not a bad person, because they do not act like the stereotype of an unempathetic serial killer, etc. And yet, at the end of the day, all a person really needs to be abusive is selfishness and arrogance, thinking they deserve or are entitled to more than other people, and putting their wants, unjust or hurtful as they may be, above other people's needs/basic freedom/dignity. Oppressors aren't, or I guess not all/not always, the stereotypical Hollywood villain or just absolute, quasi-non-human monsters. They are regular people who love themselves too much and have no problem sacrificing others to get what they want. Well, this is the end of this crazy story. First of all, I just don't know how Opie ignored so many red flags. Anyways, if you guys have any thoughts or suggestions or an interesting story of your own, do share that in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this story, do like this video and subscribe to our channel. It is free. You can also support us by checking out the links in video description or the channel's About section. You can watch these videos in the meantime. Hope you guys have a good day. Goodbye.